The long grind of the NBA season is nearly come to an end as the Sixers continue to limp to the finish line before addressing their big picture questions this summer. However, we have a couple notable updates to give regarding some mysterious injuries on the Sixers roster, as well as, of course, to dive into those lottery odds of the chances of the Sixers adding Cooper Flagg or another impact player in this rookie class. And that's exactly where we'll start, as well as another new face that has arrived in Philadelphia, a guy that has caught my eye a little bit with his play. So excited to tie up some loose ends with the Sixers team. But of course, the story is the odds of winning the NBA draft lottery and retaining their first round pick. The Sixers remain exactly tied with the Brooklyn Nets. I'm recording this Friday before Friday's games of action here. Of course, the Sixers, the last time they play, an absolute masterclass of a loss to the Washington Wizards there. I got to tip the cap to how good this team is tanking. Giving up 45 points and 9 3-pointers in the first quarter to the Washington Wizards of all team. Not every team is built like that to tank to these levels, but this Sixers team is. Now, as they currently sit here, tied with the Brooklyn Nets, we do need the Nets to find a way to win at least one more game throughout the conclusion of the season. I don't want to deal with the uncertainty of a coin flip or a tied record at the season's conclusion. Literally straight random here, and unfortunately, that is what we have to count on, is the odds being in the Sixers' favor for this to conclude in the way that is best for the organization. But regardless, they can only control what they can control, and they're doing a good job of it. They've now lost 6 in a row. They are 1-9 in their last 10. They have a 39.9% chance at the top 4 pick, currently a 9.8% chance at that number 1 overall pick. And I got to say, they have become a big-time Pelicans fan. There is not the best, or I guess most opportune schedule for wins for the conclusion of the season for them. They do have a matchup with the Brooklyn Nets, which is one we're going to have to pay attention to. But if the Pelicans can win 3 more games and the Sixers lose out, that would be a coin flip you could talk me getting too involved in. So they continue to lose out from here, just an evaluation period. Nick Nurse was directly asked about the status of a couple of the more notable players. We obviously know that Joel Embiid and Paul George have officially been shut down for the year, but Tyrese Maxey, Andre Drummond, Kelly Oubre Jr., players like that still kind of lingering around. And as far as I'll start with Tyrese Maxey directly here. His Nurse was asked about him, and per Josh Grebe of Liberty Ballers here, say injury updates from Nick Nurse. Tyrese Maxey is doing on-court work and is trying out a brace. It's just a pain tolerance issue for him at this point. Kelly Oubre Jr. is day-to-day and could play this weekend. Lonnie Walker IV is working out, and he's out of concussion protocol. And to give a little more detail on the Maxey situation, Sam DiGiovanni of Clutch Points adds, quote, I see it as obviously one of our really good players. He's still very young. He hasn't played for a while, and I think there's things that he can work on. So Nurse kind of speaking to his optimism or belief for why Maxey should return to the floor. I'm here to stop those conversations, that I don't see any appeal in that. And frankly, if anything, I would argue Tyrese Maxey is going to pick up more bad habits for stepping back on the floor and trying to fit in with this quality of basketball that we're seeing. Frankly, flip on the NCAA tournament, you will see much cleaner actions being run, plays being executed than what you're seeing on this Sixers team right now. It is dreadful, and we should all be okay with that we know what's going on to this point. This is just get to the end of the season, and then you can sort through which of these guys are keepers, which of these guys should never set foot in the NBA again, because there are those members on the Sixers roster. Now, speaking of those members here, there was a new face that did show up in Philadelphia on a 10-day contract here. And what we got is another 10-day signing for the Sixers, this once again from Sam DiGiovanni here. Phillip Wheeler, and the press release per the Sixers writes, averaging 15.3 points and 5.6 rebounds in 25 G League regular season games this season. It continues on. Philadelphia 76ers president of basketball operations Daryl Morey announced today that the team has signed Phillip Wheeler to a 10-day contract. Wheeler has appeared in 25 total G League regular season games, 16 starts with the Texas Legends and Maine Celtics in 24-25, averaging 15.3 points, 5.6 rebounds. He produced a G League career-high 35 points against Mexico City on February 8th, one of his two 30-point games this season. A New Jersey native, Wheeler has averaged 11.2 points on 49.4% shooting and 4.5 rebounds in 83 career G League regular season games, and over 4 seasons with Rio Grande Valley, Iowa, Mexico City, Maine, and Texas. He's also spent some time playing professionally overseas, most recently averaging 12.6 points on 51.8% shooting with, I'm not going to try this one, of the Puerto Rican BSN in 23-24. Now, to give a little more context, kind of a cool story with this dude, and we've only seen one game of action to this point. He had a heck of a slam dunk to kind of announce his presence as his first basket in a Sixers uniform there, and really went for a dunk on another one. Did not execute, but I appreciate the effort level. He's got some pop to him. He attacks the basket hard. I haven't figured out what kind of category of player to throw him into just yet. That is a guy that I will have my eye on for the remainder of his Sixers tenure, however long that lasts. But to kind of give a little more backstory on him, pretty cool kind of story here. I can't find any recollection or stats of him playing college ball anywhere. How he kind of got his chance is he went to one of these open tryouts for the Rio Grande Valley, the G League affiliate there, that it was the Delaware Bluecoats offering for the Sixers as well, that they do offer these kind of free tryouts. This dude got a chance, played his butt off, competed, became a practice-only player, continued to bring it on a day-by-day basis on no money, not being paid whatsoever, scrapped his way, they handed him a jersey, earned an opportunity, and here he is getting an NBA chance. So this is not his first opportunity at the league. He was on a brief two-way contract as well. Hasn't really shown any side of footing yet, but he's still just 22 years old. I'm intrigued by Phillip Wheeler. Not a guy I know anything about from the backstory, and that is rare. Generally, I have a little bit of background on all these guys that are pulling off the scrap heap here, but I'm open-minded and excited by what I saw in that brief stint. Not going to dive too deep into that to that point. Now, another bigger picture question is, of course, Joel Embiid. To me, it is concerning that it's been a month since he's been shut down to this point. We have no news as far as what is the recovery process. Is he getting surgery done? What type of surgery is he getting done? Has there been any more revealed about the status of that knee? What we got from Nick Nurse this week is Nick Nurse says he thinks Joel Embiid is done seeing specialists and, quote, decision time could be getting closer. Quote, I think we're close to that point. I don't know what the holdup is on this whatsoever. Frankly, I don't think it's a positive sign that there is. I think the honest reality, if I'm going to put pieces together and read the tea leaves here, there probably is not a clear surgery that can fix what's going on. The doctors are either stumped by this or just the reality is there is no clear pathway to directly giving you a 100% chance of bouncing back. And I think that's the reality that we all kind of knew this season in the back of our heads, just more confirmed at the state of this. Now, with that all being said there, they could go the experimental route with Joel Embiid's body type, the wear and tear on him, all these kind of factors. I don't know if there's going to be the best hit rate here. It does not sound like the Lonzo Ball surgery is even on the table for Joel based on the status of his knee and everything that I've heard there. And I'll also add that if you were to go down that path, I think it's pretty likely that we never see Joel Embiid play basketball again. Think about it was 2 full seasons that Lonzo Ball stepped away from the sport, was unable to step back on the floor, and that is all while Lonzo Ball is several years younger, 100 pounds lighter, 6 inches shorter. A lot of factors playing into his favor that not quite in Embiid's here. So the I guess only takeaway here, it's not great on the Joel Embiid front. Now, that only makes getting this draft pick more important. This only makes the calculations for the organization more complicated as we get to the offseason. But I guess they got to sit back and wait and decide on whatever this quote-unquote decision time is or whatever the outcome is. That's what we roll with from here. So I guess it is just kind of a stay tuned on the Joel Embiid front, but I don't love the sign of not having a clear answer at this point in the game. Now, to reflect back on the lottery odds a little bit more, I did want to make one point clear here. I think I have undersold the impact of what Cooper Flagg could mean to this Sixers team. That if we're walking into the next era with a trio, forget Joel Embiid, and hopefully we don't even have to do that. But if we do, and the end of the Joel Embiid tenure is here, if you find a chance at that number 1 pick, and you walk into this next generation of Sixers basketball with Jared McCain, Tyrese Maxey, and Cooper Flagg as your foundational pieces, you're talking about a decade-long contender. That's how good Cooper Flagg is, and I've undersold that on this channel here. I've kind of still just going to be a win to me would just be keeping the pick, that if they get the 6th pick, I still will be satisfied with that based on you're taking something away from this season. But boy, a 9.8% chance at Cooper Flagg being the missing piece. He would be everything for this Sixers team. From a fit standpoint, a guy who could certainly play a small ball type center in the NBA, and he's got real deal size as well. I think he probably projects as more of a power forward. There's some real deal wing in him too. I was trying to come up and I was kind of bouncing back and forth on player comparisons last night. I think Jason Tatum's the closest thing that I would give here. He's a little bit more of a true big man than Tatum, although Tatum has more so, I guess, evolved into that as his career has progressed and stylistically the way the Celtics play. He's essentially a full-time power forward at this point. But I do think Flagg, a more dominant defender, a better rim protector for sure there. There's a lot to like there. I could see a Lauri Markkanen offensive role and kind of a guy that is the anchor of a defense, a super high-level defender. I'm very impressed with what I've seen by Cooper Flagg. I thought last night, I'm recording this after, of course, Duke took down Arizona and shot my guy Caleb Love, who gave up a battle for them right there. I could not be more impressed with what I've seen. The maturity, the way that he reads the game, the competitive, the way he competes on a play-by-play basis. Cooper Flagg is the real deal by every definition of it, and that would be a franchise-altering day in Sixers history if they do find a way to pull away with that one pick there. But for the time being, they will continue to limp through the remainder of the regular season, and we have to wait for the fate of the ping pong balls once the season does conclude there. So we're going to keep chugging along here on Sixers Digest as well and want you guys along for the ride. So before I sign off here, I do want to remind you guys one more time to make sure you are smashing that subscribe button. Then once again, just 36.7% of you guys watching these videos right here have subscribed. We're going to keep plugging along, even with it is tough times in the Sixers world. The better days on the horizon, and we're going to be prepared for them. So want each and every one of you a part of the Sixers Digest family. Make sure you're hitting that button, dropping a like on this video, subscribing, and I'll be back talking to you next time. Peace.